What's up, boys? Last week I was late on a video, and this video probably is also going to be late. I did say that I was working on a couple of different videos. I have not got out to the range to shoot or do any outdoor videos. So in the first part of this video, I'm going to be recommending 5 books. Probably will throw in a 6th one. These are going to be pretty short because I don't want to give too much away about the books. So just going to do a quick brief synopsis, what I did or didn't find interesting, and then I'll maybe throw in like a 6th bonus book. First things first, I'm going to try and churn through most of the social media / known military / stuff that'll be practical type of books, and then I'll kind of burn through some science fiction or fantasy / stuff that isn't practical or based around shooting and or survival. Clint Emerson's book, 100 Deadly Skills. It's got a bunch of different pictures, all sorts of useful information, things that you might find clandestine in nature, improvised weapon making, hiding information, dead drops, how to win knife fights, improvising tasers, and there's even this one. I do believe there's a second part, maybe even a third, but 101 more deadly skills. I did not pick that up, though this was at Borders. No. I can't quite remember. I think I paid $15 or $20 for this book. It was an interesting read. If you can find a PDF or a free version of it, maybe take a look at the first couple pages, see if it's something that you might be into before you buy the actual book. So I also want to make a caveat now that I've shown the first book. I'm primarily a book reader. However, I do like audiobooks, so some of my suggestions will be in the form of how I ingested the content, so I might not have a physical book, but most of my 30-40 books that I'm going to be recommending here are physical books. The second book that I'd like to recommend is Jocko Willink's Extreme Ownership. I believe this is Leif, Babin, and Jocko Willink. How they describe situations essentially is by using their military backgrounds and their stories to prove a point and then explain how you can use tactics and things like that in your everyday lives. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but if you read the book, it will. Essentially, a bunch of war stories, they take primary points and then drive that into how to take better ownership and be a better person. This was a pretty heavy hitter the first time I read it. I've tried to go back through a couple times and like reread it. I'm a highlight shit to not forget important passages type person. Also, his leadership strategy and tactics book that Jocko did. So that's kind of a piggyback. It's the field manual. This is also a fantastic read, so that's going to be number 2 and number 3. I don't want to like give a bunch of stuff away, but it's kind of like war stories that you want to hear boiled down and distilled into points that can actually be useful or things that you can change about your life and your business, your whatever, and be a little bit better of a leader, a person, and things of that nature. I know this one might be somewhat of a meme, but this is not a meme. It's one of those things like if you watch the Joe Rogan podcast or hear any tactical type of dude or individual, they're always talking about the Book of 5 Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, Art of War, and the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. This is a fantastic read, but once you read it once, you're probably not going to reread it. There's some pretty stoic, hard-hitting knowledge, but like I feel like maybe this is a book out of time for a reason. Marcus Aurelius was I'm not going to explain Marcus Aurelius to you guys. It's a good read. It's not a book that you're going to reread though. Maybe I'm wrong, but this was not. It's a good book though. Meditation Marcus Aurelius. And my 5th book recommendation, Tim Kennedy's Scars and Stripes. So if you're not aware of who Tim Kennedy is, you should be. I know there's a lot of people, I follow him on Instagram, and a lot of people attack him viciously in his comments. I don't know if that's because of some statements that he's made or whatnot about being anti-Second Amendment. I'm not sure. He seems pretty pro-Second Amendment to me, though I've never met the dude. I've never trained with Sheepdog Response. My kids don't go to Apogee Park, whatever, all of his institutions. I watched him punch people in the face, and he makes some funny content here and again. However, his book is a very introspective dive into the young Tim Kennedy, his trials and tribulations through his MMA career, and also him as his Green Beret / his life of a soldier developed, as well as some of his work and the really shitty pullout of Afghanistan. He went over there and did some humanitarian aid. It is a document of his situation and his life growing up. And if you're interested in Tim Kennedy, it was a pretty good read. I did read this twice. There's some pretty hard-hitting, stuff in there. Again, I'm not going to try not to spoil any of these books for anybody who wants to read them. So yeah, that is my 5 books that I'm going to be suggesting for part 1. My 6th bonus book will be The Martian by Andy Weir. You might have seen The Martian in theaters, the Matt Damon movie. You might not have. It was based on a book by Andy Weir. It's a fantastic book. Again, this is one that I don't have a physical copy, so maybe I'm just putting a cover shot right here. This is one that I did have a buddy turn me onto it through an audiobook. Fantastic. Definitely listened to it a couple times. There's versions of it out there for free on YouTube. You can pay for it. I suggest people buying the book or the official audiobook. If you don't know the premise, first man mission to Mars, stuff goes wrong. People leave Mars, guy gets left behind. He has to create a habitat, a livable situation while things kind of fall apart and break down. And then he has to get off of Mars. So yeah, a very, very fantastic book. So that is my 5+1. 5+1, we'll call it 5+1. I like the sound of that. My 5+1 book recommendations for part 1, guys. If you have any fantastic book recommendations, I don't care. I'll pretty much read anything, or at least look into anything. Leave them in the comments section. If these books sucked, maybe wait for part 2. If you think I've got horrible taste, well, you don't know me very well, so maybe I do have horrible taste, but you won't know until I put out more. So subscribe and see what books that I like to read. Yeah. All right, guys. That's it for part 1. Catch you in the next one. Peace. Oh yeah, read books, dude. Be well read, be educated, get a word a day calendar, try and learn new things. It doesn't matter what you're reading, just do something to further your brain. Yeah, it's very convenient to just click on a YouTube video and let it autoplay all day or listen to a podcast. Those are great. I'm not saying those are bad things, but use information that is written down and put it into your forehead. It is one of the best things that has come from humanity existing. So take full advantage of it. Take every opportunity that you can to learn, however you can, but just read books, learn, figure out new things, and use that information and spread that information. All right, I'll get off my high horse. Later.